Welcome back to A Moment of Zen, beautiful people, right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We are live from Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, and I'm sitting in the famous Top Golf Lounge with breathtaking views. And in just a bit, we're going to be chatting with my good friend, Anthony Gargano. He is Philly's favorite everyman. He brings on the passion and has been part of Philadelphia sports radio for over 20 years. And today, I need his brilliance. I need him to help me make sense of futures betting and give me some great tips on sports betting as well. Now, we know that steadily growing in popularity, futures are offered on most sports and horse racing, plus politics and entertainment. I actually researched this. I don't want to sound ditzy, so I started with understanding the basics. Ladies and newbies, a futures bet is when any wager placed on an event that will take place basically in the future. Easy enough? Major championships like the NFL Super Bowl and NBA Finals are very popular futures options, and bettors receive fixed odds on the eventual champion. Fixed odds. Really need Anthony for this one. So my next question was, how does futures betting work? Anthony again. But I did figure this much out. Futures betting odds can open before the start of a season and take bets throughout the year, with bookmakers adjusting those odds in reaction to season results, injuries, and trades directly pertaining to these athletes, as well as the amount of money wagered on certain teams. I sound smart? Well, yeah, because I'm explaining it. But can I actually pull the trigger? No, and no idea, nor do I know where to start. But Anthony is here, and he is the expert, apparently, because they say that you can calculate the implied probability and potential payouts for your futures bet with an odds calculator, or you can just ask Anthony. And Anthony Gargano brings big entertainment and sports news on Philly's The Fanatic during the workday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're going to go down and check out the activity on the floor later on, and he's going to give me that crash course on futures betting and the lowdown on basic sports betting, so I can look like a pro even after 3 glasses of wine. Nice to have you on the show, superstar. Welcome, Anthony.
Are you kidding me? You explained it perfectly. You don't even need me, all right? You got it nailed. You're right on. It is about the future. It is about throughout the whole course of the season, depending on certain happenings. You nailed it. What are you doing, Zed?
Well, Anthony, I didn't nail it because I still don't understand how to put this in place in theory. And so I want to know something. My question is, what are the most important things to keep in mind when betting futures? I can only handle like 3 major things. Go.
Well, when you look at futures, first of all, you look at the sport. Let's take the NFL for a second. So if you look at what teams, you want to look at the odds, who has the odds where you can make some money. So you don't want to always go with the favorite. And then you want to look at their team makeup. And so what additions to the team did they make? What growth did some of the big players, like maybe the quarterback, who they drafted, how that works? And then you want to look at their schedule. And you're going to look at where they're at in their growth. And you go, wow, let's extrapolate and believe that this team can actually make a run and maybe be a surprise team. So let's look at last year. Perfect example. Tampa Bay, you could have gotten big odds for the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl. And that was before Tom Brady became the quarterback. But you could look at it and say, Tampa, there was a lot of rumors that they needed a quarterback. And there were some rumors that Tom Brady would leave New England. So I know a lot of people, or quite a few people, who actually believe that would be a destination for Tom. So they bet on Tampa Bay to win the Super Bowl, and they cash big, Zen. That's you. You're going to cash big.
What kind of cash are you talking about?
Well, some guys got up to 60-1. And so if you put, think about it, $100, you won $6,000 off of your investment of $100. And there's so much you can do with futures that as it goes forward, you can kind of mess around, take other teams. You could hedge your bet. You could add more to it if you like how your team's going. So it's a really cool way to play the game, and it gives you some fun. And that's what this is all about. we're at the Ocean, and their sports book's phenomenal. And so you have some fun with it. You go in, you go down, and it's something where you could root for all season long because you know every week you have your team that you pick to win, so you can root for them.
I kind of get it now. So as an example, the 2022 Super Bowl futures odds have the Kansas City Chiefs set as the favorites to win, listing them at the top of the futures odds at plus 500, which to my understanding means you win $500 on a $100 bet. Is that right?
Yeah, 5-1. Correct.
Got it. So when they say the Indianapolis Colts, on the other hand, have longer odds to win the Super Bowl and are listed at the bottom of the futures odds at plus like 2,800. So again, win 2,800 on a $100 bet.
So wait a second. How did you pick the Colts? Because the Colts is a great pick.
I don't know. I guess I have a horseshoe up in the right place.
So the Colts got the Eagles quarterback, Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz the head coach of the Colts used to be with the Eagles. His name's Frank Reich. And Carson played really well on the Frank Reich. In fact, he brought them all the way to the precipice of the Super Bowl that was finished by Nick Foles. But he had his best year under Frank. Now he's in Indianapolis. He's got a really good team around him. And they could be a surprise team in the AFC to win that conference and get to the Super Bowl. So imagine this. You put $100 down on the Colts, 28-1, walking away $2,800. That's fantastic.
Wow, that's popping. Now,
I can't believe you knew that. That's phenomenal.
I do my research.
You do.
So betting, let's talk betting. Now, over the past few years, the emergence of daily fantasy sports has led to a renaissance for conventional sports betting, and the anti-gambling stigma that exists for decades is finally fading in our popular culture, opening a door for a massive multi-billion-dollar legal sports betting industry to emerge. And with sports betting now legal in many states, millions of sports fans will be looking to enter the betting market for the first time. But where do you begin if you're unfamiliar? Anthony Gargano again. Now, Anthony, I have to pick your brain on this. Favorites versus underdog. Tell me.
So in any game, you're going to have one team versus another team. Most times, one team is forecasted to be better than the other team. So one team will become the favorite, and the other one is the underdog. And all it is the math probability, right? So if you believe that Team A is going to win 90% of the time over Team B, the odds are adjusted accordingly. So it's really pretty simple. Now, just because a team is forecasted to win, it's sports. We're human beings. We're fallible. The underdog, and I've seen it, lots and lots of great upsets. And you just have to look at the team and look at how they match up versus the favorite and think, wow, might they have a chance? And then you get longer odds when you bet the underdog. So if you bet, let's take a favorite who is minus 200. And that's a pretty substantial favorite, and you can find it all throughout every sport. So Team A is favored over Team B. You would have to bet on Team A, put 200 to win 100.
Got it.
Now, Team B, if you bet 100, you're going to bring back $180 because they're the underdog. So your $100 bet nets you $180.
Got it. And if the game is a toss-up, what happens?
So the game's a toss-up. They call that even money. And with every sports book, when they're two teams, they call it a pick 'em, where you could pick A or B.
Got it.
The probability says flip a coin. You would have to, they call it lay. So you would have to put up $110 to win $100. That's the cut for the sports book. They call that the vigorish.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to
spreads.
let's move on to spreads. Okay, so we can keep this linear. There are two main ways to bet on a favorite. Or an underdog. Is that correct? So the
Yep.
the first is the point spread, which is a bet on, I guess, on the margin of victory, if I'm understanding this correctly.
You got it.
Okay.
And so it's a way to even the contest, right? So what odds makers do is they look at Team A versus Team B, and if they think Team A is substantially better in some, and you could also have home field. There's so many different factors that goes into creating the difference.
Got it. And
so,
then I just want to make sure that we get through enough of this description here. Can you quickly touch on money lines and over and unders and totals quickly?
Yeah, sure. So the money line is what we talked about without point spreads. It basically is, hey, this team is going to win X amount of times, so they make that team a favorite. That's a money line. You either have favorites or underdogs. So your $100 bet, depending on what it is, if it's a favorite, you're going to win less. If it's an underdog, you're going to win more. Now, the odds are that the favorite wins more often. Now, when you look at totals, that's the amount of points that are scored in a game. So if you have, say, a football game, and they're going to make it 48. So they believe that 48 points are going to be the total points scored by both teams in the game. And you can bet over 48 because you think there's going to be a higher scoring game, and you can bet for it's going to be 49 or over, or you bet under if you think it's more of a defensive game.
Got it. And then bettors can then wager on whether or not the game will go over or under the total. Got it.
And most people like to bet over because it's about human achievement, right? You want to see people score. So that's why most people bet over.
Wow. Well, Anthony, I have learned so much in just a short 12 minutes here. And what I really want to tell the audience is how to place a bet and how to do it safely. So with legalized sports betting spreading across America, sports bettors have never had more options to take advantage of. And we always recommend making sure that you are dealing with a trusted sports book. And of course, we know that William Hill right here at Ocean Casino Resort is one of the most trusted sports books. What do you feel about Ocean Casino and William Hill and how you place your bets? Is this one of your comfort zones?
Oh, without a doubt. It's so easy. It's safe. You know that you're going to get your money if you win. And that's the kind of environment that you want to be in. And look, it's all supposed to be for fun and amusement. And you go in, and if I have my $50 and I put my $50 on my team, I tell the teller, they give me a ticket, I hold on to the ticket. If my team wins, I go back to the teller and they give me my cash. And it's really easy and it's fun and safe. And that's the way to do it. You're not getting into any trouble. It's perfect. And that's why the legal sports betting is fantastic. And it's fun. Everybody loves sports.
Everybody loves sports.
To have a little skin for your team.
There you go. Guys, you heard it first right here on A Moment of Zen on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. That was Anthony Gargano live from Ocean Casino Resort in Topgolf Swing Suite right next to me. And we just had a crash course on all the fun stuff and how to do this the safe way. And in the end, you have the final say on how much to risk on a game. But a good rule is to risk only what you can afford to lose. Sports betting is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be good days and bad days. As a result, we recommend a flat betting approach. This means betting the same amount on every game and risking only 1% to 5% of your bankroll per play. And the bankroll is the starting amount you have at your disposal to bet with. And that is my final comment here, right here on A Moment of Zen. Anthony, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure having you on.
You're amazing, Zen. You even have money management skills. Oh my God, you got everything.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll be right back after this.
Zen is brought to you by Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, Vice Cucina in Midtown Manhattan, Revere Securities, and Helen Yarmack International. Tune in every Saturday night at 9 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, or download the iHeart app. Text the word collaborations to 917-575-2321. Follow Zen on social media @ZenSams. That's Zen with an X.